gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Silicon Dreams on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. I am your show host, Sonia, founder and CEO of Orbis 86, and joining me today on this next episode of the Silicon Dreams, where we bring to you news from the world of Web3 as well as the advancements in AI and ML. Right here with us, we have Adarsh and Saurav. So Saurav and Adarsh, they are from team The Coin Republic. The Coin Republic is a leading crypto publication based out of India. They cover news globally, and in fact, a majority of their readers are based in the United States. So I'm very excited to have these folks in the show with us today, and I'm going to throw it right over to Saurav. So Saurav, why don't you go ahead and talk to our audience in the Bay Area as well as the listeners of the podcast globally. Tell them what is the Coin Republic and what is your role at the Coin Republic.
Thank you very much, Sonia, for this opportunity. Good evening, Los Angeles. Good evening, San Francisco, San Jose. It's a beautiful day in Mumbai, and we're so honored to be a part of this show. Thank you for the introduction. The Coin Republic is one of the leading crypto news organizations in Asia. They're based in Asia, but again, most of our readers are from the States. So a lot of people might have heard about us. Today, we are planning to give you some crypto dice, if I put it that way. Sonia,
I think you are mute.
I am on mute. Yes, that's perfect. I can't wait for the show to get started. But before we do that, I'm just going to throw it over to Adarsh. And Adarsh, why don't you just tell the world who you are and also what's your role at the Coin Republic?
Hi, I'm Adarsh Singh. My role at the Coin Republic is as a research analyst. I look forward to things which are happening in the cryptocurrency world and to report them through our website. That's more of concise role of me here.
So technically, Adarsh is an analyst, right? As you know, the bigger publications that are focused on bringing news and data to the world, analysts play an important role. And that is exactly the role that Adarsh plays for the Coin Republic. He is the one getting all the data together. And if you go and look at the articles on the Coin Republic, what you see is they're not just reporting on the news, but they're also breaking down on a lot of technical analysis. And that is my man Adarsh right here. All right,
yeah,
so now,
so many things.
Yes, yeah, absolutely, guys. You have to go and take a look at the Coin Republic. If you haven't heard about them, go check out their website, and I think you can just make up your mind for the quality of the articles that's published over there. A lot of great learning opportunities. With that, we are going to jump straight off into this episode of the Silicon Dreams and Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. And today we are going to talk about some of the trending news from the world of Web3. Now, Adarsh and Saurabh, right? First of all, thank you for bringing me up to speed with some of the top headlines in the world of Web3 in the past couple of weeks, right? And what I want to do is kickstart with the subject of VC investment. Obviously, the past few months, VC investments, we have seen them thinning. Also, a lot of VCs who have anything left at all now, because unfortunately, many of the VCs are going bankrupt. Like we literally know New Chip Accelerator filed for bankruptcy, right? But with the rest of the VCs, they are betting on generative AI. However, in the world of crypto, as you guys appraised me just a few minutes ago, there has been an astounding amount of money being poured into layer twos. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Saurav. Why don't you actually break it down by starting with the news headline and then tell our people over here, everyone who's listening to the show, where exactly are the VCs putting their money in? Are they trying to launch the next Bitcoin and shit, or what exactly is happening?
So, Sonia, it's interesting because crypto VCs raised over $2.6 billion in the first quarter of 2023, down from 3.2 billion in the fourth quarter of 2022. So it's it's gone down actually, but mostly they're investing in layer 2 scaling solutions and crypto custodial services companies So I guess for the uninitiated, it's important we understand what they are. So Adarsh, if you could explain to them what layer 2 scaling solutions are, and if you could also explain why crypto custodial wallets are in the ranks in terms of VCs.
Okay, so there are three things actually. First is layer 0, layer 1, and layer 2. If we think of Ethereum, it's a kind of a layer 1 protocol. It cannot process more than 20 to 30 transactions per second. That's its limit, even after so many upgrades. Where does layer 2 solution comes is they can process a high transaction, which can be used in suppose there are dexes, there are decentralized exchanges, centralized exchanges, a marketplace for NFTs. Various things are currently being built. This is where the layer 2 comes in. They can be more faster, more quicker, and can be more scalable than Ethereum, which we haven't currently seen. If I can take an example, we have seen the launch of Arbitrum. It's a kind of a layer 2 scaling solution. It can process up to 14,000 transactions per second. Meanwhile, if Ethereum, it's 30 transactions per second. There are lots of VCs pouring the money in the Arbitrum and many more things. And I think this is just an example. Yeah, sure.
And Adarsh, that was a great example. I want to just break it down, even like, just take it down to a fifth grader's level, right? And one of the things I wanted to mention here was when we talk about transactions per second, like how many transactions per second should any DLT, a distributed ledger technology, or any blockchain be able to support? You said that Arbitrum can support 14,000 transactions per second compared to 15 to 20 to 30 transactions per second that we see on Ethereum today. And people are building a lot of stuff on Ethereum. One of the key things to note here as a point of reference is that today globally, Visa is able to support 15,000 transactions per second, right? Now, a lot of people know about blockchain for its use in decentralized finance, right? We're basically talking about a financial ecosystem where you do not have any sovereign entities or any middlemen, and it is a trustless peer-to-peer system where everything is transparently visible. And to that extent, right, if you're talking about using any of these DLT chains to enable DeFi across the globe, the bare minimum standard is that of Visa, which is 15,000 transactions per second today. And with that, I throw it back to you. So we know that, VCs are putting money, betting high on layer 2 scaling solutions. So one of the advantages, as you said, is the layer 2s, they are faster and quicker. Anything else you want to add?
They are we can say as they are the next visas or Visa or MasterCard for the future, because the layer 2s are basically a platform where things can be created. If we think in the Google, suppose we go to Google Play Store and see download any app or something like that. Layer 2 makes it more faster, more secure, and more reliable, and also being decentralized is one of the most fun. Also, layer 2 brings a hope to people that the decentralized things can exist. It can exist like previously, as for in 2000. Sure. So
one thing, if I could intervene here, I recently interviewed Mr. Giovanni Francese. He was the head of blockchain at Ericsson. I also interviewed Mr. David Palmer for Vodafone, and they're all talking about enterprise level blockchain, private blockchains that these big companies are using for their own DeFi solutions. So it's not rather they're using it as a product, they're using it to scale their own productivity as well. That's why layer 2 solutions are important, because it's something that you build upon a basic blockchain that is layer 1, and then when you build it upon that, it scales up. It's the progression of it's the evolution, you could say. Going back to you, Adarsh.
No, I think you correctly say that it's a great evolution for for in the decentralized sector. I think once it takes it up takes it to next level, we can see various things like payment ecosystems, apps, more and more things we can see. Lending,
More and
borrowing,
more
all
things
that.
could be built on could be built on the
Yeah, yeah.
blockchain, could be built on decentralized infrastructure because of that. Guys, we try to educate people about the difference between blockchain and the other term that you'll hear, which is DLT or distributed ledger technology. And essentially, blockchain is a DLT, but a DLT has so much more to it than just blockchain. Blockchain is,
Yeah.
it's like saying, hey, you can program in any language, or it's like saying, hey, your Tesla is a car, but not all cars are Teslas. So similarly, blockchain is a DLT, but not all DLTs are blockchains. With that, what I'd love to do is also segue. And guys, there's a lot about layer ones and layer twos that we can talk about. What I want to do is break this down into multiple episodes. Of course, we just have 25 minutes for this particular segment. So we'll move a little bit ahead of topics of layer twos, because in one of the other show segments, what I want to do is also compare Ethereum layer two solutions to the new age DLTs, where their layer one itself is fast enough. It's really well architectured to enable tens of thousands of transactions to be processed on them. But in this show today, we'll talk about that VC money. So we know VCs are betting on layer two scaling solutions. The second thing that you said they're betting on, and I'm a little surprised by that, is they're betting on custodial wallets. So I heard it right? They are not betting on non-custodial wallets. They're betting on custodial wallets like Coinbase or the centralized exchanges. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I mean, to think of according to that, they are ahead of the regulatory procedures. So they are thinking that custodian wallets will be more regulated than the non-custodial wallets, and I think this is
Right.
what.
Why don't we first talk about the difference between custodial and non-custodial? Saurav, do you want to take that one?
No, that's Adarsh. He's looking dashing today, so let's him answer. Hey, go ahead, answer.
Thank you. Basically, custodial wallets and non-custodial. Custodial wallet is where you can keep your your private keys on behalf of you. Basically, a crypto wallet, someone else. There is someone else who controls your cryptocurrency's keys or everything else. Basically, suppose Coinbase, Binance, something like that. And for
So guys,
non-custodial
here's
wallets,
a simple analogy, right? I mean, I want to just make it simple for people, because a lot of people might not even know, hey, what keys are you talking about? And obviously there are experts here who knows, Satoshi could have been from the Bay Area, right? And they might be listening to the show. But that being said, if you think about it in layman's perspective, a custodial wallet is like an account that a bank has opened for you, right? So you are giving your money to the bank, and the bank has control over your account. Tomorrow, if the bank goes belly up, your
yeah,
account's
your
gone
account goes
too.
for.
However, in order to open an account with the bank, you can't just walk in and say, guys, here's $1 million, open an account for me. That doesn't happen at a bank, right? They will verify you. They need to check your identity. They need to make sure you're not engaged in money laundering and so on. And as Adarsh was saying, the cryptocurrency ecosystem has seen a significant rise in regulation. Now, whether or not that regulation is well informed and how intelligent it is, that's a topic for another show. However,
Sure.
we know that SEC is trying to crack down on things. Sometimes I feel like things that don't need a crackdown, but that's again a different show, different topic.
Sure.
So going back to you others, right? So custodial wallets,
If I,
essentially you have another entity, a centralized entity, a company that opens
Controls your
a
funds
crypto
basically.
account for you, right? What is non-custodial?
Non-custodian wallets basically is MetaMask, where you control your own funds. Nobody controls your funds. If you deposit your Ethereum or Bitcoin in a non-custodian wallet, suppose MetaMask, Phantom, there are thousands of those. So you have the control of your own funds. Nobody can. If suppose one day, I can say MetaMask goes belly up, but you have your control of funds. So it's like that.
so
I think
Sonia, if
Saurav
I could
was.
add a bit to this, is that the news goes they're more investing on custodial services, right? So one of the reasons why I mean, again, we're comparing quarter 4 of 2022 to the quarter 1st of quarter third of 2023, right? So what has happened significant in that area? The Silicon Valley Bank collapse, that has been an important, part of, you probably know, you're in the Bay Area. So that's one of the reasons why people had started to have trust issues, and maybe they thought crypto custodian wallets are going to be, we could trust it with other. But again, we've had FTX as a debacle. If that was a big debacle.
Everyone has heard about FTX at this point, I'm guessing. I
Could
would be very
Yeah,
surprised. I'd be surprised if anyone listening to the show hasn't heard about FTX. But yes, I mean, FTX, that was a saga.
Yeah, so one hand we have Silicon Valley Bank, another one we have FTXs and the Terra Lunas and all of that. Who should we trust? I guess that's
Who lost it better? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yes, I actually recently heard news that out of the 8 billion lost, FTX had probably somehow regained control of $5 to $6 billion, and they were thinking about launching again. I was like, whoa, what? Like, what's happening? But that being said, let's go back to the topic at hand, right? So the VCs, they are putting their money on custodial services, right? So they are basically looking for these entities that might become the next big decentralized banks. So technically they would be centralized, but I think it's always very hard for people to transition into going from a system that they have worked with for decades into something that's completely new. And that's, again, a risk with non-custodial wallets as well, right? With great power comes great responsibility. So if you lose money on your non-custodial wallet, there is no FDIC to fall back on. If you lose your password, the money's on the chain, but the way to access it is completely gone. So it's completely your responsibility, and sometimes that kind of responsibility also frightens people. So there you go. On one hand, VCs are investing on custodial services. On the other hand, they're investing on layer two scaling solutions on Ethereum. With that, though, what I wanted to ask you was, with all of this investment, what about the original investments that the VCs bet hard on? For example, in the Bay Area, we know Bay Area native Tim Draper was one of the VCs to bet hard on Bitcoin. He actually bought like 80,000 Bitcoin from the Silk Route highs, right? What about Bitcoin? What's happening to the price of Bitcoin? At one point, we were looking at it rocking 60,000, and now it's struggling to even gain steady support at 30,000. What's happening with the price, guys?
I'll take that. Bitcoin is currently experiencing network congestion with over 450,000 transactions pending in the blockchain. And again, Adarsh will explain that a bit further. The average transaction fee has surged to $19. And some experts believe that network is under a denial of service attack. Again, an important term that we need to understand in this context. Currently, Bitcoin price is trading below 28,000, and it could consolidate for a while. That is, again, we're not promoting it. It's not a financial advice of any sort. It's just based on the primary and secondary research that our analysts have done. Adarsh, if you could explain to them what the significance of this 28,000 price barrier is, as well as if you could explain what DOS attacks are.
Fine. Yeah, sure. So before explaining what the significance of 28,000 is, before I will come to DOS attack. DOS attack is basically denial of service, meaning you send so much reliable traffic to a network, it gets flooded, no transactions can get processed. Meaning, suppose there is a website, you load it with so much traffic that the servers goes down. It's something similar to what DOS attack is. So why DOS attack? It's not sure. It's not sure. Many people are saying is it for BRC20 tokens like ordinals are coming up. So are they congesting the network, or there is some other reason, or the popularity of Bitcoin is going high, or Lightning Network? There are so many underlying reasons which can happen, which can be the reason for so much unconfirmed transactions or high spike in the transaction fees. But
Basically,
it's all,
for the layman, what they need to understand is Bitcoin can process, what is it, 6 to 8 transactions per second at the moment,
yeah,
right? And
it's less.
it's flooded with transactions, and there's a long queue, and it seems like there might be transactions being sent with malicious intent. We are not sure. Obviously, people from the Bay Area and also globally who have worked in the field of cybersecurity, you know what a denial, a DDoS attack, a denial of
Yeah,
service
sure.
attack, what that means. And Adarsh did a good job of even explaining it. It's basically just overloading something with so much traffic that it shuts down processing, and that's what's
Yeah,
happening
I think
with Bitcoin at the moment.
yeah, I want to give an example. If Bitfinex in 2017, and I think I'm not sure about it, but in Binance in 2019, they both suffered a DDoS attack. If they were flooded with so much traffic that they have to shut down at least 24 to 48 hours for their users.
And for those
It
who haven't heard those terms earlier, guys, Bitfinex, there's something going on with Bitfinex, but Bitfinex, Binance, these are providers of some centralized exchanges like Coinbase. And Binance
Sure.
actually processes majority of the transactions globally. Binance has a smaller US footprint, and recently they withdrew from Canada as well, and we'll talk about that on another segment. However, Binance, Bitfinex, there are a lot of centralized exchanges like Coinbase. For those who are in India, you know about CoinSwitch, Kuber, and whatnot. And we are just talking about those exchanges and how they were also under the DDoS attack. But let me ask you this, Adarsh. Do you think that it's only the DDoS attack that is the reason for
No,
the
I mean,
Bitcoin price going down?
no, there are lots of reasons. I mean, there are lots of dots to connect. Basically, if you look at the trader's point of view, there is a lot of options expiring coming on, and there are lots of puts. I mean, there are lots of short selling going on for Bitcoin. I think there were two firms which were which exited their portfolio from the cryptocurrency only due to the SEC something, due to some rules of SEC, and which is causing the liquidity gap. Meaning there are less buyers than sellers.
It's literally like a bank run situation, right? You need to have a liquidity. And in fact, in the case of crypto, unfortunately, the moment crypto was directly pegged to US dollars, and that was it's supposed to be a form of currency exchange. And today, globally, US dollar is the currency in which exchange of value happens. But the way Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency prices work at the moment, except for stable coins, is unfortunately they work very similar to the stock market. And
Yeah,
it's a little unfortunate
but
that
with a
it
lot of
works that way.
volatility.
Yes, more volatility than stock market, though we have seen stock market also be volatile, in its
Yeah,
100
sure.
years of existence.
SVB.
Yes, exactly. But obviously, right now, what we're seeing in the cryptocurrency market, that's why when others just talking about shots and puts and all of these fancy derivative trading that happens in the cryptocurrency world, that is all because a lot of people are looking at it as a high risk investment asset versus something to really lead into the decentralized finance world towards. Um, right now, so it's unpredictable, a sentiment-based market. I was thinking that with First Republic Bank also
Sure.
joining that crowd of banks going down this year, unfortunately, I thought Bitcoin might again see a rally because we've seen this pattern with the Silicon Valley Bank or Signature Bank going down. However, that didn't necessarily happen. Now, what I would like to ask you is, when we talk about the pricing of any Web3 asset, right, be it a cryptocurrency or an NFT, the fancy term that took the world by storm in 2021, what exactly is the role, or what exactly is the influence that influential people could have on this entire ecosystem? There was a major influential person, not an influencer, I would say, even though technically the person is an influencer, but we think about influencers as people who take some money, run some ads. So trying to just separate that out. But there is an influential person who again made some waves in the market, and we've seen that pattern repeat over and over again. So in the Web3 ecosystem in particular, when it comes to cryptocurrencies and NFTs, what is the influence of an influential person?
Well,
I would love to throw it to Saurav.
we all know him. The name is Musk, Elon Musk, and we're talking about the concept of pump and dump. Whenever Elon tweets something, talks about something, it seems to like he's the golden goose basically for the crypto world. And we're talking about a special NFT collection in the recent context. This the meme coin season, ladies and gentlemen. Pepe is a meme coin that's recently became relevant for some reason.
Like they had almost 2 billion market cap, and they haven't even been around for a whole month. Has it already been a month? I don't think so.
Exactly.
But even at their lowest lows, they are like 500 million market cap, and I'm like, what exactly is happening? What's happening with all of these frogs and meme coins? But go on, Saurabh, go on.
Yeah, well, memes and God, we can't understand them both. So here's the deal. It's called My Lady is a collection of 10 My Lady, right? My Lady is a collection of 10,000 anime profile pictures of NFTs that was created in 2021 by digital arts company Ramilla. The floor price, and Adarsh will explain to you what floor prices are. The floor price was basically the initial price point, the discounted price point of the NFTs. Were 3.8 ETH, and then it goes to as far as 7.3 ETH after Elon Musk tweeted a meme from the My Lady Makers NFT community. So one tweet doubled the price. And here are who talks about compounding interest? Warren Buffett. It doesn't matter. It's just a tweet. Just follow the tweets. And that's one of the things that's interesting about this community.
So see, within a week, right? In fact, not even within a week, with one tweet, within a day, we saw the floor price of My Lady double. Let's go back a little bit, track back a little bit. A couple of years ago, we saw Elon Musk literally every day. Well, maybe not literally every day, but it felt like he was doing it every day. Put out a tweet saying, "Goes to the moon." Yeah. What happened with that? Like,
that's an interesting case study. As a journalist,
exactly.
It's as a journalist, actually, I recently wrote a thesis paper on it. Twitter is one of the most reliable source of crypto news. So major news publications, not only within the crypto sphere, including us and anything, but traditional news media outlets, they too use Twitter as a credible source. This was founding of my research. And we're not surprised. And now he's he's the man. He's the chief tweet. All right. And whenever and so it explains himself. This guy is either has lost it all or he's a genius. And people consider both. Okay. So I don't know. Don't ask
the Twitter. He's polarizing for sure.
Don't ask the Twitter employees though, because they wrote it on a ticker before leaving out. But so many adjectives.
We are in San Francisco Bay Area, Saurav. I can tell you, I've heard it from the locals that some of the Twitter employees have to take toilet paper to the San Francisco office because he fired every single member of the janitorial staff. So we are not going to the Twitter employees.
You guys just tokenize toilet papers?
Tokenized toilet paper, right? That would be something. Oh my God. And also, I would have loved to talk about the new Twitter CEO takeover, bringing World Economic Forum to Twitter. I'm talking about free speech. Okay, I don't want to talk about it at the moment, though, because that could be like an entire show by itself.
It's election time. It's election time.
It is election time, right? And we have to be very careful. That being said, though, Saurabh, what happened to Doge? Can you tell people, because there are a lot of people who might have seen Elon tweet about My Lady, and they're going to go and put money into it because they're like, hey, if Elon's saying this shit, something has to be true. What happened with Dogecoin? What have we seen in that case study? Like when Elon started pumping it, where did it go to, and where is it at now?
That's an interesting question. I can imagine Dogecoin as a meme, as Elon is the Lion King meme That's it. That sums it all. But if you want to understand the price action of it, Adarsh has it recorded. So Adarsh, if you could explain to it how the price action was, how one tweet changed the game, how many thousands of percent did it gain, in what time frame, if you could explain to her.
Okay, so I think in between 2021, Elon started tweeting. March 2021, I think Elon started tweeting about Dodge. It was then around, what is it around current level, $0.04, I guess. After
Is
it
it
surged to
0.04
zero
or
point
is
zero
it
four
zero?
dollars.
Okay,
No, it's
4
it's
cents.
0.04 cents, give or take. It then surged to 70 cents, gaining. I think it's 70. It's a lot of gain. It's a lot of. It's a lot
So
of
dirt
gain. But
cheap goes dirt cheap to the moon.
yeah, but
That's
I think everything reaches a threshold point where when the bear market started, I think Dodge got hit more than anything else. It reached to the
So,
current level where
Doge actually started its journey from lesser than a cent, right? I
yeah,
mean,
sure,
if
sure, sure.
I'm actually looking at Dogecoin at its all-time records, because I believe it was June of 2020 when he first tweeted about it. And he
Yeah,
didn't really get into the whole tweet storm about it until 2021, as you said. April, May 2021 was when he started really pumping the shit. But before that, the first tweet when it went out in 2020, at that time, Dogecoin was 0.002 cents. So it was like, it
way
wasn't
way
even
low.
1 cent. And then at its all-time high, it went to about 75 cents or 80 cents. And today it's actually at 7 cents. It's been in the range of
10
7
times low.
to 8 to 9 cents for a couple of months now. But from its all-time high, it is down by 90% or more. And
Yeah.
from its all-time low, though, which was probably, well, I won't talk about the all-time low, but the first time when Elon tweeted about it, which was 0.002. Now it is still, if you compare 0.7 cents to $0.002, right? It's up
It's still
by.
high. It's still high when we compare when the Elon started tweeting. I mean,
Now,
I
in the
saw.
world of NFTs, though, do you think the same thing might be recreated, especially given how the NFT world in general is unfortunately suffering from a lack of interest of
it's a
values?
wave. It's a way, it happens in we haven't seen something of this sort before, right? I mean, during the dot-com bubble, the dot-com era, people were talking about social media platforms and all of that, but it happened quite slowly. Then the Bitcoin revolution began, and then slowly it shifted. People were interested about NFTs. Then social audio applications came along, Twitter Spaces, Clubhouses. Then now the different people are interested in dApps. It seems like and then artificial intelligence. I mean, that in itself, so it's like subwaves. And if you want to get a taste of it, just go to Twitter Spaces or Clubhouses and just follow what these people are talking about. You would get a gist of what's trending. The trend changes every 2-3 months, 6 months.
And be careful of putting your money on something that's trending, because unfortunately, even though we are a show that actually is pro crypto, pro Web3, however, it aches my heart to say Twitter is also a place where a lot of these pump and dump schemes are run.
Yeah.
At the moment, Saurav said that, ladies and gentlemen, it is meme coin season. You're literally seeing influencers come out there, say, hey, we're going to take this next coin to the moon or do something about it. But if you are putting your money, almost 99% of the times, you are the exit liquidity for these people. A lot of these folks, they're taking all of that money, draining the entire smart contract, and then disappearing, closing down their Twitter accounts and everything. So just be careful when you're noticing the trend. As Saurav is saying, use them, observe. I would literally say that, when it comes to Web3, especially if you want to make a career in Web3 as a trader, observe for at least
basically what Soniya is trying to say is, don't take your financial advices from a guy who's wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt or a podcast.
Well, actually, you are probably even though, you are not a financial advisor, but your advice is still way more founded in facts, right? Because that's what you're doing every single day. And I would listen to your advice versus listening to advice from a completely anonymous profile picture on Twitter that has 100,000 followers, out of which I don't even know how many people are real. And then I
Sure.
see a lot of these people support
So
each
Sonia,
other.
are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to buy my trading course? Come on.
Maybe we should do that, right? I need to see what's there in your trading course, and we could also
No,
cover
but
it
it's
in another
interesting that
episode
you
of this
mentioned it.
Canteen.
These the fake gurus era, CoffeeZilla. Oh my God, just follow CoffeeZilla. If you want to know about what's happening and who's the latest crypto, even the journalists follow him. He is the best ever investigative journalist in the financial market of modern era. I say it. CoffeeZilla is one of the best.
Oh, amazing. CoffeeZilla. So guys, that's the person, the influencer, the account that you need to look for. CoffeeZilla, and definitely been making great waves in the crypto space. Now, unfortunately, we are running out of time here, and I would have loved to keep going, but we are on a little bit of a tight leash. And I'd love to actually do this again with you guys, right? But before we leave, where can people find you both? Right? Can others, maybe you can, I'm sorry if
I'll
you can
take
hear me,
that.
you can take this.
Uh,
Oh, perfect,
I'll,
perfect. You can hear me. So that's great.
I'll take
So
that.
sort
It's
of go on.
Thank you. It's www.thecoinrepublic.com. The Coin Republic is the key word here, ladies and gentlemen. Bing, bing, bing. That's it. You have won the lottery. The Coin Republic. Search it on Instagram, YouTube, everywhere. That's it. The three-letter it's the three-letter news organization: BBC, CNN, TCR. It's the same thing. Go ahead and follow us. But most importantly, I have to acknowledge what you guys are doing here and for this opportunity, because we believe that going to traditional media, going back to the roots, radio, and then combining it Web3, metaverses, and all that's quite important. And you, madam, I have been following you for a long time. And I feel that you're the perfect person to represent that. You're your community closer. You close the, I mean, not in the wrong way. Like you bring communities together. You don't close down communities. Okay.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the one thing about Web3 that has brought all of us together, right? Because it's about building communities and not conglomerates. And that is what drives me. In the Bay Area, especially, we see the struggles between the top 1% and then the rest of the 99%, where almost every single person is struggling with even the basic necessities every day. And with that, obviously, Web3 has this promise of building a better future where hopefully we could all bridge the chasm in some way. Now, with that being said, what I would love to do is let's happen here. Okay, there you go. So,
Sorry
what I
about
would
that.
love to do, it's okay, it's absolutely fine. What I would love to do is sort of, why don't you go and give, like, one closing message for this particular segment. So you already spoke about how people can find you. If you had to give a piece of advice to the newbies, right? People who are just listening to the show, who are probably inquisitive about crypto, but have unfortunately just been on the receiving end of just bad news in crypto. What is the one piece of advice you might give to a person like that trying to learn more about crypto and Web3?
Enjoy it, learn from communities. Never ever think that you're right all the time. Listen to the crowd. But in mass communication, there is a theory called diffusion of innovation. So there are early adopters, late majority, there are laggards. Like it or not, consciously, unconsciously, you will fall into one of these categories. It is important to understand price action. It is important to understand fundamental analysis, technical analysis, and what makes a Web3 different is on-chain analysis. These are terminologies, these are concepts that are not easy to understand. And if you go to the paid services, first, you have to figure it out on your own. Second, you have to pay to get those, on-chain analysis and all that. We do it for free. We write articles about them. We have analysts who put their mind, write it in the simple words. So again, be skeptical of news articles, because there are PR articles and news articles like in any news, like even traditional news agencies, but you have to do your own due diligence. It is the only way where you can win this market, because it's complicated, but it's fun.
It is complicated. It is fun, guys. Imagine trying to figure out the stock market in 1920, or trying to figure out .com in 2000. You had everybody jumping on the ship because it was hot, and then there was a burst that happened, and then nobody wanted to touch it because they were like, oh my god, the internet is hell. If you touch it, you're going to burn in hellfire. But then look at where we are 20 years since then. The things obviously change, but you need to do a lot of due diligence. Saurav, that was an excellent message coming from you. I would love to thank both Saurav and Adarsh for joining us today on this episode of the Silicon Dreams on Radio Zindagi 1550 AM. And what I would love to do, guys, is just end the show with a positive note. One of the things I love to tell people is, we are in the Silicon Valley, right? And obviously, even globally, there's this huge rat race that we are unfortunately a part of. A lot of people listening to the show, you are probably surrounded by a lot of noise. And crypto could be intimidating, but so is your everyday life. And all what I'm going to leave you with is, take a moment to focus on yourselves amidst all of this chaos. Find a moment to focus on yourself, on your mental health, and focus on the loved ones around you, because at the end of it all, the human connection is the most important aspect of all of it. And with that, guys, we are going to wrap up the Silicon Dreams. This is your host, Soniya Ahuja, founder of Orbis 86, ending this for this week. Join us next week for another episode of the Silicon Dreams that will be focused on AI and ML. And again, thank you, Saurav. Thank you, Adarsh, for joining us today.
Thank you.
And have a good week ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone who is listening to the show.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you for inviting.